Okay, I found somebody who's going to help out with this next match, which is a women's match between Orcas and Akkaren. So it's Colombians against Norwegians. The guest expert commentator is Rikkunen from Finland.
Hello, welcome.
So there's no Finnish women's team here, but you're going to be able to take back the news of what you see here. The match is underway, and we have Akkaren in white, and they have knocked out Molde and come in as champions this year. So that's one of the two new teams. New women's German. The Germans team is a new one. The flipper was knocked out from Denmark on the men's side, and also here. So, oh my gosh, what happened?
Yeah, it was Akkaren played a really nice game. They hold the ball and good passes, and then they just scored. Orcas was a little sleepy, I think, because there was no counter pressing against Akkaren.
So the Orcas players that come out across the top, they get tied up in the middle, and the ball's at the bottom somewhere on the right side. It's pressing forward, so it must be in the hands of Orcas still. An Orcas player is coming over from the left side. She passes down to her teammate who's coming in. She got to around the back. She's tied up by a forward. She curls up around the ball, passes down to her teammate, who doesn't get a clear grasp on the ball either. And they manage to recover it. It's now 1-on-4, and she's still pressing forward, not looking.
Yeah, but I think Orca is not going to have enough good pressure to the Akkaren's goal, because they have only two players at the same time. So they have to have.
We lost the picture momentarily, but it's back. So far we've seen that the Colombian team has not been able to put enough pressure on the Norwegians, and the actions going on to the other side of the pool will join you, and we're back again. So the defense is settled in, but there are players lurking down. It's not a stable situation for Orcas right now.
Yeah, but still Akkaren is very far away, and they are playing like old school Norwegian. So they are pushing the ball at the surface and waiting that the opponent will come there, and then some passes and they are at the opponent's goal, which is enough to have a free space to make a score.
She's pushing from the right side, and she's tied up. The Orcas player is coming around, latched on the ball, steals it away, swims to the right side. She's probably been grabbed. I don't know. And it goes back again to Akkaren. The Akkaren player fakes a pass and then passes to a teammate. Very nice there.
Yeah, now you can see actually Akkaren has the little bit same problem, that there is only few players making the goal. So I'm hoping that Akkaren will have a little bit more players, and of course Orca as well when they are attacking. So it will make a little bit easier to make goals.
The ball bounces at the bottom, and it's an easy score there. It was she forced the goalie straight off with her head and her shoulder.
Yeah, and there was a big mistake from Orca when the defenders was only taking the player with the ball, and then Akkaren player managed to get the pass, and it was empty at the bottom.
There was no defender lying on the bottom, and it's 2-0 in favor of Akkaren. And this is in the first half with roughly 5 minutes left. So doesn't look so good for Orcas right now.
Yeah, those both of those two goals have been very easy goals. So Orcas defense should a little bit concentrate to play more aggressive, or have to have a systematic defense system or something.
we've lost the picture here for a second. Maybe it was the referee's fin or something. The Orcas player has got the ball, swims over to the right side, is drifting over. We can't see the action right now. We can guess that Orcas is holding on to the ball. That's all we can say. Oh, now they're over there. So she had the ball there. She lost it. It was bobbled by an Akkaren player who eventually Orcas comes under such pressure. But it was good the way she held on there.
Yeah, and now good and fast counter attack from Akkaren, and now it's 2-on-2, and it's a score. So I think there was a good pass under the defender, and another player just presses the goalkeeper off on the goal.
A physical mismatch here in some way. That are the Colombian players not large and strong? Is that in comparison, or is it disorganization here?
I think it's a little bit disorganization because I'm used to that. Orca, both women and men's team will play very, how do I say, mental game. So every player will do such a things which seems to be nice, and
I mean, it would.
yeah. So it's not so organized as well as, for example, German game style. But now I think the Orcas should play as a team a little bit more, and because those actually all those 3 goals have been quite easy goals.
Mental mistake. So Orcas has not really brought their mental game here 100%. They're going to be a little bit disappointed in themselves.
I think so. And now, when there is a few minutes left at the first period, I think they are going to have that pressure, of course, the Akkaren's goal, but they have to have enough players there. 2 is not enough for them.
They've lost the ball. Now it's 2-on-1. The goalie's there, and it's going to be a very dangerous situation. And somehow they managed to hold off the attack there. But the Colombian player's got it. One of the Orcas players, she's got it. She passes down to a teammate. They're moving, but they've lost the ball again. And Akkaren's had it straight back over to the goal. The Colombian forechecking is pretty aggressive right now.
Yeah, and I think that's a key point, how they can be in the game again. So they have to make those hard pressing and make those fast counter attacks.
Now it's a streak. It's a fast move to the goal. It's 2-on-2. The defenders come down. She doesn't go in. We can't see where. Passes to her teammate, who kicks off the bottom, headed back out towards the middle, finds a teammate coming down from the right side, who passes to a teammate who's more in the center. She spins around, tries to move in, passes back to another teammate who they're tied up, so the progress to the goal has been impeded. But they're down there. They're working on the right side. They're coming round. She's lying there. She's just playing with the ankle of the defender.
And Akkaren's attackers will take all those empty space really well to control. So Orcas have not so many good chances to make a goal. They will keep the ball there, but there haven't been any dangerous situations.
I like the way the Orcas players were grinding there. Really long bottom time by that last player. She stayed there forever and held on to the ball, wrestled, and it came out and passed. They need to do that all together.
Yeah, like I said before, the problem is still that they have only few players at the same time at the bottom. So maybe they should little shorten their dive times and make great frequency, more dives at short time.
You've played one match now already, and it was against Orcas.
Yes, and we lost with Hämeenlinna team from Finland. We lost to Orca 1-0, and I'm not happy for the result, but things happen.
I think it was a pretty good match. It ought to be a little bit. You could go forward and say that things are not going entirely wrong. It's not good to have to lose, but it was a close game.
Yeah, I think the main point was that we wasn't so prepared to have opponent which will hold the ball very close to body. So we like more the game style when the ball is open-handed.
You feel it was hard to get the ball away from them?
Yeah, they are not so big guys, but still they have enough strength to keep a ball, and they are fast and movable team. So it was nice to get a grip on the game.
So the score now is 4-0 in favor of Akkaren. Orcas is gone over to the other side. This is just the first half, though.
Yeah, I think if there is not going to be any special tricks from Orca, Akkaren will make at least 4 goals more, because all those goals actually will be, if you can say, in team sport, but they were defenders' fault. It was really easy goals at the bottom.
You don't see that a pep talk is going to change this game that much?
I think both teams will have that talk. So Akkaren will say that let's keep the just rocking, and maybe Orca. I hope Orca good to have a little tighten their defense.
Of course, it would be even if the match ends 4-1, that would say something about their ability to recover.
Yeah, that's true, because they are training much higher than other teams. So it would be fun to try how it would feel personally.
The Colombian clubs have more players than many of the Nordic countries, so they have a lot of players to choose from, and they play out of doors a lot too, I think, and they're generally in pretty good shape. They have good lungs. You say that maybe they stay down too long sometimes.
Yeah, I think underwater rugby, if it's played at a high level, it's more that you have more dives at the same time, and you have 100% power and energy for the all dives. And if you dive a too long dive, you have to save somewhere. Is it the surface time, or is it power and energy you put in the game? But somewhere you have to save.
To make a recovery there, your oxygen debt. Okay, the action started again, and the ball is somewhere near mid pool, being contested, and an Orcas player comes up with it. She's grabbed again quickly. She manages to pass off to a teammate who goes down, lies on her back, and we've lost the picture here for the moment. And we hear referees toot the horn. Okay, now it's free ball, and it's Orcas coming in, and she's not coming in. It's a stop and play, or what's going on here? Free ball. Yeah. Okay. In come Orcas with their free ball. She gets tied up. She manages to pass to her teammate, who goes all the way over to the other side of the pool. She's on the bottom. And they come out again. She passes to her teammate, who takes it back in. She turns around. She passes. They're all the way in the corner. And Akkaren's picked up the ball there, I think. It's a little bit hard to see sometimes with the bubbles from the referees' oxygen tanks. No, but Orcas does have the ball. They're coming in, and they're over on the left side trying to build up some kind of a wave. But there's no real threat here to Akkaren, really.
Yeah, Orcas is keeping the ball good, but actually it's quite easy if you don't go to the goal and opponent will not charge you so much. So I think the situation is for Orcas that they just have to keep pressing on onto defender and goalkeeper, because now they are just stopping the first attacker of Akkaren.
So if you were the coach of Akkaren, would you tell your players now to conserve their energy in order to save their muscles for the future matches?
No, I think there is only few players who can actually change their rhythm and game style, and keeping still the quality and level of the game very high. So if I would be Akkaren's coach, I would say, okay, have a fun, play good, and do not change anything.
So to actually try to save energy strategically in a match, that requires a kind of mental skill that the average player just doesn't have.
Yeah, and I think if you adjust, goal and no goalkeeper, empty goal.
So that was an easy score and a continuation of what we saw in the first half. With 7 minutes left in the game and now 5-0, Akkaren is leading. They, of course, had to beat Molde just to make it here. So that was probably one of the toughest things in the series. Akkaren lost the first two matches that they had against Molde, and then they won the third and fourth, and they took the Norwegian league by 1 point.
Yeah, actually it was... I don't follow the Norwegian series, but I have liked a lot Norwegian women's game style for years, because they are playing, no offense, but they are playing like a men, which many other teams don't. So they are passing the ball and making the ball make all the work. So not just keeping the ball into armpit and trying to wrestle through everything.
Okay, and it's a fast break again, 1-on-2. She grabs the back's legs for a second, heads up, passes to her teammate who's also on her way up. She's over in the corner and she dives down. She's coming in from the top. She's coming from the other side. She tried to pass to a teammate on the bottom. We can't see who's got it now, but yeah, it ended up still with Akkaren. Akkaren player is coming in from the top, trying to do you like this technique of pulling on the goalie's ankles?
Yeah, I think teams should use it more, that the attacks can come at the bottom and the middle, on the top of the goal. So actually there is both the defender and goalkeeper should make some real defending work.
So you're a proponent of the three-dimensional aspect of underwater rugby, that the attacks come from all directions, from top, bottom, and the middle.
Yes, totally. Because of course there is a teams which play only at the bottom, but I think they will lose very much energy, because they are not using all dimensions.
It takes less energy to swim up and past the goal than to grind your way through it. Now there's a lot of pressure again. She passes to her teammate, who passes to the right side. Somebody else is there. It's an unstable situation for Orcas, and wouldn't be surprised if they scored now.
Yeah, and actually, if you see those Orca players, even if they are great time at the bottom, they still have a very long time at the surface as well. So I would prefer quicker dives, and then just do more of them.
It was one of those, when you saw the ball bouncing there on the bottom, you could be sure that some of the players saw it also, but they didn't feel that they were the closest player to the ball. They all thought somebody else was going to go get it, and when you realize that you are the closest player to the ball on the bottom, it makes you feel like a real dumbass, to use the phrase.
Yeah, and it's a little bit mental situation if you think goalkeepers and defenders traditionally will keep their own positions in every situation. And now, if there's a ball just bouncing at the bottom, there have to be someone. And
That's you, Riku.
yeah, maybe me. But there have to be at least a defender going after the ball.
So now we're with 3 minutes left in the game, and Akkaren's got the ball back again. They've got a fast break 3-on-1. This is gonna be a score, or it should be a score anyway. But somehow Orcas held them off there, and the defense is stabilized a little bit. But it's chaotic there still, nonetheless. A dangerous situation. The Norwegians come back. She swims up. She's to the right side. She's getting air. Will she dive herself? Probably.
And if you look, the players, defenders are not in static positions. They are a little bit run for the ball and still a little bit at the static position. So actually, they are playing any position.
That's always a tough one, because when you're playing forward and you really feel that you're on your game, you can judge that you actually have the time to get to the player who's got the ball a little further away. Although your coach might be saying everybody's got to stick to the center and cover the cylinder, but sometimes when you're the forward, you say, I've got to go out and get the ball, because now, after all, you're not winning. You have to get the ball back.
Yeah.
And now it's a fast break again.
And that's the last situation. There was Orca has the free ball, and still there was no players diving. Everybody was at the surface. So I'm thinking that maybe their physical condition is not so good at the moment.
Well, it could happen with a flight across the ocean, and they could be tired.
Yeah, the first game is always a problem if you are not prepared.
It's good to come a day early. I was here a day early, and I can report that Akkaren came a day early, and the women, they were there in the hotel, ready to go to bed early to bed, early to rise. They were the first team who arrived, really.
Yeah, because I think it will affect so much to your game if you are ready at the first minute, if you have prepared all awakenings and what you have eaten at the whole day, and mental prepared also is important.
The clock here shows 34 seconds. The actual game clock is down to 29. So there's maybe a 2-second difference. This game is over. There's no way you can come back from 5-0. It's just not going to happen. So basically, the Akkaren players are just hanging around the basket, protecting it, making sure there won't be a single goal.
And even if there is only a few seconds left of the game, still the same things happens, that Orcas only few players who dives actually.
So, there's no Finnish team this year. That's a little bit sad. But one of the Finnish national team players told me that she was going to send the famous Finnish calendar with you guys so that we could